Hello, everyone. It is I, the Reverend Godfather, the main host and frontman for the Long Coat Mafia podcast. Links to that podcast are down below in the description. And while you're here, please click that subscribe button. And if you like this review, please click that like button. And why are we here today? We're here to talk about this person right here, Alita Battle Angel. Why? Because the movie Alita Battle Angel came out in theaters this past Thursday, February 14th, 2019, and it is about 2 days later. It is Saturday, the 16th, 2019, and the year is for those watching in the future. Like I said, the reason why I'm talking about today is because I saw the movie today, February 16th, and let me just give you, right off the bat, two different numbers for the review out of a 10 score. The first number is going to be that of a filmmaker, and the second number is going to be that of old school fan person of Alita Battle Angel. And the first number is, it as a film goer, I'm going to say it's a solid 7.5 out of 10. But as a fanboy, an old school fanboy of this, not this particular issuing, this is Alita Battle Angel, Alita Last Order, but as a original fanboy of the manga / comic, let me just say it was a 6.5 out of 10. Please do not let that number frighten you away from this movie. I do recommend you go see it, despite what a lot of the harsh critics are saying and what I'm about to say about this. Go in and judge for yourself. For the most part, I want to say that James Cameron and Robert Rodriguez did a bang-up job with this, putting this fine film together. It was a very beautiful flick. I think James Cameron and his co-writer did a fine job trying to stick to the original first volume of the manga that was released back in, I want to say, close to 20 some odd years ago, maybe a little bit longer. We'll get into that in a little bit, but him and his co-writer mixed in a little bit of Volume 2 and Volume 3. Again, we'll get into that in the nitpicks in a little bit. But I want to also say that everyone who played their parts in this film played a wonderful job. They did splendid jobs. One person that I want to bring up, this person real quick. Ed Norton played the character Nova in this, and I want to say this: the special effects team did a wonderful job trying to bring a lot of the characters to life in this, and that even though they use CG, there's a robot. I can't really find it in the mangas. It'll take me too long to find in here. It's what they call a C series in the original manga. It's a C series robot. It's pretty much a cylinder type of robot, and it's just the reason why I say C series. It's usually a C and a number right next to it. In the manga, it's maybe about. It appears to be about 3 feet high, maybe about 2.5 feet round, and it's just a face that relays a lot of information, communicates with the central computers on the floating city in the film. I love how they kind of brought that to quote-unquote life. As per everybody playing the parts, the actors and actresses, they did a splendid job. And one person I wanted to bring up was Ed Norton. That's right, Ed Norton's in this. He plays the character Nova. And for those of you at home, this is Nova. Now picture Ed Norton playing this character. This on his face is in the movie is like sunglasses, or I'm not sure how they kind of made it in the film or what their initial purpose is in the manga. I don't think they really explain the glasses, but Ed Norton fit this character to a T, and they got the this eyewear perfectly. I never wanted a piece of movie prop so bad in my life. I want to also say this. Let me bring up the character list on my mobile device. The only person I had a little bit of a gripe with in regards to this is Christoph Waltz, who plays Dr. Dyson Ito. The reason why I have that little bit of this, I'm saying this gripe right now, is because in the manga and the anime, Ito was like more so in his 30s, and Christoph Waltz is way older than that. So, but he does a really good job playing Ito. He sells it very well. He sells that part very well. Rosetta Salazar sells Alita very well. She did a bang up job playing Alita. I'm not going to say this actor's first name because I'll butcher it severely, and that his last name is Ali, Mr. Ali. And let me bring up his photo right here. I don't want to bring it bigger. That's this person right here. He plays Vector in Alita Battle Angel. He fit that role well. I'm not saying that because of who he is. I'm saying the character is in the manga and the anime kind of a sleazeball, a real sleazeball. Everything he does that's legit and great, a lot of it's sleazy. I mean, it's just perfect. But my main nitpicks were, other than that, it was beautiful. They tried their best. Granted, I'm slipping into a fanboy status in this, because granted, like most things that are trying to transfer it from a comic book or a manga format to a movie, there are changes. They have to switch things around. This is a PG-13 movie, and mangas and animes can be very brutal very quick. If you don't believe me, check out, let's see, anything that's pretty much on Crunchyroll, Hulu. There's a dub version of Kira, if you will. Some people pronounce it as on Hulu. If you don't want the subbed version, there is a dubbed version if you're new to anime. Yeah, it can be very brutal and very gritty. So they had to tone a lot of that down so this movie can fit all audiences. Now to be a little bit of a fanboy nitpick into this, and to go into a little bit of a history. Again, as I stated early on, back, I want to say a little bit more than 20 years ago, and you kind of heard me say comic and manga. Nowadays, if you went to a place like Barnes and Noble or a Books A Million, and you picked up or even your local library, if they have some there, and picked up a manga like this is what you'd find. If you were looking for a manga, whether it's Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, Attack on Titan, this is what you'd find. A small little book like this, that's about this thick. But back when Alita first came out here in the States, it wasn't like this. It was quite simply like this. That's right. It was released like this issue of The Amazing Spider-Man. 23 pages, roughly 23 pages long, and everything else. Now, here in the States, it was done in 9 volumes, and for the most part, each volume was about, for the exception of maybe volume either 7 or 8. It was roughly about 12 issues, this big, long, for the exception, like I said, volume 7 or 8, where it was about 24 to 36 issues. And it came out, I think, monthly. I had to search bulk lots on eBay to get my set. When I started collecting comics again back in 2001, 2002. But in Japan, they were released this style. That's right, the traditional style. So therefore, when I usually say or said volume 1, it just meant the first book in the series. And as you can see here, this one's book 6. And it was book 1 of the original Battle Angel series, is what James Cameron focused on, and his co-writer focused on. Now, like I said, there are some nitpicks, because there are some things that they had to remove in regards to this that I feel that kind of hurt the movie, is the aspect of at one point Alita becomes a bounty hunter, and in order to register as a bounty hunter, because in her era, her timeline, parts can be easily replaced and or forged, meaning fingerprint there either is no fingerprints, or they could be easily transferred over to another person, and voice can be copied. To register as a bounty hunter, they had to kind of put a barcode, or imprint a barcode over the brain. Reason sci-fi. And the reason why they rely on bounty hunters is because those who live in the floating city known as Salem in the movie and the anime govern those on the city below, and their role is, because there's no cops, we'll leave it up to we'll just put bounties on their heads and let bounty hunters pretty much keep the crime rate down. And the thing is, at one point, she, in order to help Hugo in the film move, earn funds to help go up to Salem, which is the floating city in the movie, she in the manga and the anime, she bounty hunts. In the movie, Hugo kind of convinces her to go into Motorball, which is this hyper violent rollerball type, roller derby type thing. And the thing is, in the movie, the reason why they do this is because, again, PG-13, and it relieves the aspect of her kicking ass more, even though the motorball scenes are pretty badass. But I would have preferred her kicking ass more and showing that aspect of the storyline. To kind of keep it a little bit right now spoiler free, the reason why she took up Motorball is because of what happened or happens to Hugo. I'm not going to get into that, but something does happen to Hugo. And to kind of move it on to what other nitpicks I could say. Oh, before I continue, one of the good things I liked about this film is that not just the aspect of here you have someone who is kicking ass and taking names. And Alita, because this is a PG-13 film, they're allowed one F-bomb in the film, and it is given by Alita herself, and it is perfect. It fits, and it is awesome. And the other thing that they bring up great is the aspect of people with, in essence, prosthetics or cyber-enhanced, or people, and wonderful to be around as well. That was a happy minute. Now, get back into things. As we were talking about the bounty hunters, they have at least in the manga and the anime, they kind of go into how it's a barcode etched on, not so much etched, kind of just placed on the skull, so they know who's a bounty hunter and it's not fake. But in the movie, card carrying bounty hunters. But some of the other things is the a lot of things it's not going into, but because, let me put it like this. As thick as these initial volumes are, they cover a lot of ground and a lot of information. And what can I say is that not everyone, when it's all a lot of nitpicks in here, mostly because I'm talking about what is in the books, not the movie, or vice versa. Mainly, the main evil person in this is Nova. He doesn't show up until volume 3 of the manga. But in the book, it's strictly between. The whole story revolves Alita getting to know herself, her powers. There's a berserker, what's called a berserker cyber body in this, and her becoming or getting used to that body. She finds it in the movie. I don't think she found it ever in the manga or the anime, but it was more so Ito in the book and the manga and the anime. Ito has the book, the mark on his skull from Salem, which is the floating city, and that's because those who come from the city down to Iron City, or at least in the storyline, they are either outcasts from that city, or they've done something wrong. Either they decide to leave the city for whatever reason, or they were kicked out because of they were criminally insane, like Nova. But Ito was kicked out because I forgot why. He was kicked out because I think he wasn't really kicked out. He left, and thus he was branded with the mark. In the movie, he said, "I got rid of my mark." But again, just a minor nitpick. I don't remember how Alita came up with the Damascus blade. But in the comics, I remember it being, I should say the manga. I know a lot of you out there are going to, who might watch this, are going to raid my comments saying, "Oh, it's a manga." Well, you got to remember, again, when I initially got Battle Angel Alita, it looked like this. So please, this is a comic. Yes, I know this is a comic. This is a manga. But since I got it like this, I'm gonna probably refer to it as a comic, not a manga. I don't think I remember her having it as a standard sword. Just that I do remember her having it more so as a kind of a overly large butterfly knife in the books. So that's a minor nitpick. And the other thing is what Victor does is this is spoiler territory, is a scam, and why he does it is because well, I'm not going to go into it. I'm going to trim it. I won't say I'm not going to go into it, but I might go into it in our audio review for our podcast. So stay tuned to that. Again, links are in the description below. Overall I did enjoy it, despite the campiness and despite the aspect of that it does try to one of the minor nitpicks that it does. It tries to weave in the Last Order, which is the current one that came out a couple years ago. I do own these omnibuses of Alita Battle Angel. Yes, I'm kind of centering it a little bit due to freaking YouTube. The thing is, these omnibuses are like as you can tell, they are like 3 or 4 manga volumes in width. I only have omnibuses 3 and 4. For anybody out there that wishes to send me everything past 4, please, I'll welcome it. Just leave a comment down below, or shoot me an email at longcoatmafia@gmail.com, and I'll hammer out the details. I would love to finish the complete run of these, because what happened in regards to this, let me explain that. The reason why I did read, or was reading, these individual manga issues when they were released here in my area, and here at least in Berkeley County slash Martinsburg, but the stores that carried these, not so much mangas, because again, Books A Million does sell manga, but at the time of the release of Last Order, Battle Angel, Alita Last Order, and the other manga that I was reading, Barnes and Books A Million and the Barnes and Noble that was close by didn't have them, or say the Barnes and Noble had them, but Books A Million never carried them. There was a Walden Books in my local mall that carried this and the other manga I was reading, but Walden Books sadly closed down many years ago in my area, and as you know, a lot of Barnes and Nobles closed down in a lot of areas. The thing is, the reason why I'd rather, yes, I knew I could probably go to Books A Million and order this, and plus the other one, but sadly, I'd like to go in to get the 2 for 1 deal, or buy 2 get 1 free deal, and that's when I just, I lost my job, and manga can get very, very expensive, and if you want to help out and send stuff to the show, please let me know. I'll be more than happy to get in touch with you. But as per this movie, I did enjoy it, despite the camp and despite everything else. They were pretty much accurate with a lot of stuff in it, and they did follow the bulk of the first volume of the original Battle Angel. So, that's it for now. I'll post this up. I'll see you guys in the episode. I just want to give you this review out now. I hope you stayed out this long to watch the complete video. I had a whole mess of nitpicks coming from a fanboy's perspective. I know you can't really see it, but like I said, a lot of it was the differences to kind of adapt it for a movie and set the inclusions of Last Order, the history of Alita in Last Order kind of came out, or her a little bit more of a backstory came out in Last Order than in the original run. So those were just complete nitpicks. I do recommend go see it. Just like I would like you to smash that like button, like a lot of YouTubers state. I want you, instead of smashing that like button, even though I would like you to smash that like button, I would like you to go out and see Alita Battle Angel. See this young lady, fictional, cybernetically enhanced young lady kick a lot of ass right now, and so they could smash those projections, and it hit more than $17 million and be a financial success here in the United States. So, take care, go out and see Alita Battle Angel, and see you on the, I wouldn't say see ya, stay tuned to our podcast. Links below.